BS high. I don't even know where to start.
Being high.
Luckily, that's not my job.
BSI.
What's his name? Ray?
Fuck, dude.
Roy.
I don't remember. I couldn't
Roy.
even. Yeah.
Roy is a bit of a roller coaster in the documentary.
But imagine trying to deal with that guy in person.
I don't think it'd be that hard.
I have.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have too.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I don't think in person you realize it, because he's not like all humans. Obviously, this thing's edited, but then he sat down at that interview for 6 hours and ends up self-incriminating. But if you
so hard.
But if you deal with him in spurts, I don't think he's weird. I think he's actually probably dope.
Maybe so.
That's the only way it works.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the only way it works because
Yeah.
you can't be a con man without charisma. There's just no such thing.
And he's funny. And I could 100% see those kids being like, oh yeah, we about that money, we about this, First fun fact I just blew my brains. We'll dive into the actual story, but that blew my brains is IMG making $80 million a year.
Oh yeah,
The fuck is that coming from?
The high
it's
school.
a high school academy for.
I think it's a prep school.
Yeah, it's a prep school for people who want to go to D1 programs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
really.
prep school's been a thing forever. Started. I feel like getting really popular when we were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of basketball players that didn't want to do the JUCO route would kind of go there. You had bad grades or bad upbringing, but you're skilled as hell. On the West Coast, you'd go to a JUCO, especially particular ones that they would like hide your ass in. I don't know how, but like Yuba City used to be one for basketball here. They would just grab these like D1 talents out of nowhere. And I'm like, how bad are your grades that you can't go to any D1 because you're a fucking freak athlete?
Mm-hmm.
But prep school is super normal on the East Coast. But
Yeah.
$80 million a year?
Yeah, my
They got bought.
Yeah,
And then they got bought, yeah,
$1.23 bill.
yeah, my nephews went to a prep school in Virginia, and you know how in California when you go to a regular California school, your probably your high school counselor has already given up on you by the time you get to your senior year. I mean, maybe, but maybe not. You know, they don't really know you in any specific way or whatever. It is not like that. Like, they work with you on your college applications.
Yeah.
They help you keep to the deadlines. They help you by contacting people through their network at the school you want to go to.
I assume most private high schools out here are like that.
Probably
Yeah,
so.
Mine was pretty good.
But their placement rate is so high
Yeah.
at the school that I won't shout it out. But
Yeah. I bet you like the Jesuits and the Country Days, the school I went to, they're all kind of like that.
yeah,
Here. Yeah. Yeah, like my teacher knew exactly what school I could probably get into. She talked to my basketball coach, knew exactly what school I could probably play at, probably not. She wasn't. Her sons played basketball, but it's not like she's a recruiting agent. But she had a scope of where I could play, a scope of where my GPA and ACT and shit would get me. Worked with me pretty good. Junior college, I had even out here was crazy experience like that because the team had a tutor. And they would lock you in. They'd end up, we had mandatory like 2 hours in the library every day where you had to study, and she would walk around and like literally help you with anything you need. Like that was cool. And even preschool, she would sit down with you, and they basically scheduled your classes for you because it had to fit around sports. So she would dial all that in, which was really nice because I like scheduling for school. It's because I did it on my own afterwards when I stopped playing. It's like such a pain in the ass, right? Like what's full, what's waitlisted, how do you fit in the hours, what your GEs actually are. Like at a junior college, it's a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
So to have that playing basketball, that she got me all the courses that I needed and fit them around my basketball schedule and made them like as convenient as she could. I was on campus fucking 12 hours a day anyways.
The classes are all over the place.
Yeah. And so you're fucked either way. Like playing any college sport, if your school's legitimate and made you go to class, or high school, I guess, because in this case you don't go to class, but in most places you have to go to class. You're on campus 12 hours a day. Like you're fucked.
You're there all day.
Yeah. But IMG blew my brains.
But also it makes sense. Like
80 mil though, where the fuck is that coming from? They have one ESPN game. Like, so if you're taking sponsors, like what's your justification? Like normally your justification for sponsors is eyes. All right, but you're on ESPN once or twice.
But the stadiums are filled up.
Yeah, that's true. They had a big stadium.
Stadiums are filled up.
What do you think those tickets cost? They're more than norm.
Yeah, probably 50, 60 bucks.
That's
a
what I
ticket.
was thinking. Because a football game here, you're paying 10, 20 to your boosters club. There, you might be paying 50 to 100. So maybe that's it. Yeah, their stadium's probably 10,000 plus. It's not NFL, but it's probably shit ton more than here.
For sure.
That's crazy though. I saw that number and I was trying to calculate some shit in my brain. I'm like, I just don't get it.
Think about dude, say that stadium's packed, filled, right? And their stadium's set up like a college stadium, right?
Yeah, it's like a
I'm
mini.
guessing, right?
Yeah, it's like a mini
probably
version.
like a Sac City stadium.
It's probably
situation.
like a junior college, yeah.
Sac City has a great football stadium.
Yeah, some of those, or like our soccer, pro soccer team, right? It's probably like anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
For prep schools.
And you think that they probably bring in, six-figure concessions per game, potentially?
Maybe
know what
even
I mean?
jersey sales. Maybe these people are about it.
Oh, they're buying all the merch for sure. If your kids go there, your relative goes there, you're buying all the merch.
Yeah.
They're probably selling millions and millions of dollars of merch alone.
Because it is a team of future NFL players.
Correct.
Like it is the All-Star team. It is the Monstars.
And then they're getting all the funding from
past
parents that are trying to get their kids in,
and past guys that were in the NFL already.
What do you think? So, what do you think it would cost? Say your kid's pretty good,
yeah,
and you want to be on that team, and they know you got money. What are they going to take for a donation to get him on that team, even if he's not starting? Because what the value is of being attached to that school.
I think
are we talking $250,000? One person.
I think that line with at least an IMG in particular. I think that line's actually smaller than you think because they have to win.
Yeah, but what about the Jimmy that wants to sit the bench? That's actually pretty good.
But still, just like Bama, I don't think you can pay your way to be on some of those teams
because they don't need to anymore.
They don't, right? Because the best kid's going to come.
Yep.
And maybe they'll make even the best kid pay. So I don't disagree that maybe they're paying, but I don't think you can sneak in no more because it's so competitive. It's such a business. I wonder where
the education has nothing to do with it. There's no benefit from being attached to any. There's no scholarship. It's a prep school.
And you hear about that. That's why I wonder if NIL rules started to tap into prep schools because prep schools is like a gray area between college and high school. Like high school, you still can't get a sponsorship because you're not 18. But I wonder if you're 18 in high school and you can.
Yeah, I don't know the rules. That detailed.
Like college now, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Pretty much, yeah. Except to pay you to play.
Yeah, but you can pay for anything else.
Yeah. So the deal we're talking about IMG because it is the thing that this Roy dude the model that he attempted to emulate, but he did not have the money, and he didn't have the time
or the talent,
he wasn't even a coach.
School. He's not a football coach. He really didn't have anything.
He didn't have anything,
which makes him so genius.
Yeah,
that's what makes it so impressive.
He's a con artist. He created one program that got just crapped on, and he out of the not even burned up ashes of that program started Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah. Academy of Christ or something. What was the first name?
Something of I don't know.
Academy.
I see. Was it IC something?
Yeah.
No, it was. There was an O in it too.
Yeah, I thought it was Academy of
AOC.
He was
AOC.
trying to. Yeah.
Academy of Christ. Academy of. I don't know. It was so supposedly this guy started to fill you guys in because I'd never heard the story, which kind of blew my mind that I'd never heard the story because I guess it was on ESPN and shit, but I don't have ESPN. So this guy starts a
Christians of Faith Academy.
Christians of Faith.
COF.
So this guy was working in football here and there. He had a stint being an intern in the NFL, et cetera, but he ends up basically doing some type of job for a church.
Yeah.
He was a Christian man, works for a church. Then the church...
There's air quotes around Christian here.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's Christian, whether he follows the rules. That's the world we're in. He gets approached, it sounds like, from the school first. So starting a type of academy, a real school from the church, and to lead maybe the sports and the school and the football team because he had some football past. From there, who knows who you're going to believe. That I think is probably some type of fact, right? The school maybe brought it up in conversation, but it could have just been brought up in conversation rather than like, hey, we're doing this. And this guy, what he heard is, we are doing this. And from then on, just sprints and basically makes his own football prep team, switching names, living in hotels, stealing food,
making the kids steal food.
Yeah, you're like inadvertently. Because I don't think he made them. I just think he didn't feed them, and then they had to eat.
I think he did tell them to steal.
Oh,
I don't know if
maybe.
he made them, but my impression was that he did tell them to.
My impression from that was just that he wouldn't feed them for days, and they
Had to do something.
were stuck somewhere.
So IMG Academy, that is what he was trying to base this on, is a prep boarding school in Bradenton, Florida. It started off as a tennis academy in 1978,
Yeah.
and then they added golf.
Why is it always tennis? One of the famous one is AIS in Australia. That's where like all the pro athletes from the NBA and stuff, like Patty Mills, my buddy Clint, a bunch of people went there. But I think it started as tennis in Australia, and it's similar. Except in Australia, I think the rules are a little looser, so it's literally called like Australia Institute of Sport. And so at least they like don't lie about it. Like I think you go to class, but you basically go to a boarding school in high school, and you're there to play basketball.
It seems like more people who play tennis have money. Not all of
maybe
them.
that's why it starts.
But I
most
think
of them.
but
The other
it's like
thing,
golf, the same thing.
Correct, because it's cost so much to travel and do tournaments. It's like
Yeah.
you can't do it if you're not rich.
Right.
The other thing that blows my mind too, and it's just like kind of a side concept, is America. When you ask them culturally what's most important, many will say sports are important, and some have like some legitimate foundational reasons, right? Like teamwork, communication, physical activity, all that, which I think is important. But they also just know that it's so embedded in our culture to be athletic and to be the best. Yet, we're the only country that tries to hide it under the umbrella of education, where every other country, they just separate them and are more upfront about it. Like Europe, it's super normal to go professional athlete and to skip high school when you're 13 if you're really good at basketball or football.
Yeah, you
So
think
their
you
football.
think Messi was going to class?
Yeah, he literally signed his first pro contract to like Barcelona when he's 15.
Yeah.
And they just play in the juniors. Basketball players alike. Like basketball players all the time go professional there. Luka, I think, played his first professional game in Europe when he was like 16. Like there's no way he's going to school anymore. At least they're upfront about it and don't have to lie. Where here, for whatever like fake optic moral obligation that education comes first here, we lie about it.
Yeah.
Like why?
Well, because you just said the optics of it.
Yeah, but like why? When we already like have said like we don't really care if. Do we care if Tom Brady has a GED or a high school degree?
No.
No, we don't. We should care about the people who are on the fringes who, if they don't have the education and they're not going to make it in pro sports,
Sure.
that's some of the focus.
But some of it's like clear.
But at the same time, we don't really promote vocational schools either because they're not academic. I just think that we have such a focus as a society on academics.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
But like why?
I don't know why,
'Cause it's not
but I
working.
think we do. Yeah, no, it's not working. No, I mean,
Because like if it worked, if we prove that we're like have the most educated and most of these educated work into productive jobs and get good careers and live a good life, all right, then we have the map. But like the map's not clear.
no.
How many people have degrees and are broke as shit? So then like why fake it if we know? Even in the NBA, you can't do it anymore. Like you can't go high school to the pros like Kobe and Kevin Garnett and them. And like there are the sad stories that pop up, but there's also like you just know sometimes too. Like this kid's only goal or like only chance to make it is to be a pro athlete. So why are we going to make him like force him to learn calculus and kill himself in school when that's not what he's made for?
That's a fair point.
Like if we give him the tools, he could be successful over here. And I agree with the same thing with vocational. I think vocational is great. Like, all right, this kid cannot sit down and do math.
Yeah.
Let's teach this fucking kid how to cook because he likes to cook. Like, why are we forcing this?
Well, it's like college, right? Like over in like let's say like overseas, right, or in Europe and all that. It's like there is no like general education in college.
It's called high school.
It's like literally like you go to college to do your trade or your job. It's basically just trade school.
Yeah.
Because that's what all college really kind of is trade school for maybe like a desk job or whatever.
GE's
like,
stupid.
The GE shit's like a fucking waste of time. It's all about money, though.
Well, it
It's all
should be
about
high school.
Getting you there for more years to get more tuition, to get more money. That's all
Yeah.
it's about. They don't really give a shit about you doing algebra again. They just know that they're going to get paid for it.
If our high school is good enough, you should have all the GE you ever need.
Correct.
And then you should go and learn something that produces money for a company or yourself.
Now, half the reason why I even dropped out of college was because I went to college and then I started doing high school again. And I'm like,
Right.
well, this is not. Well, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to work.
I think the problem is not really college. The problem is high school. 'Cause
Yeah, probably.
probably should be making the last 2 years of high school essentially junior college.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
So when you graduate from high school, if you're on an academic track, when you graduate from high school, you have a high school diploma and you have an associate's degree, and then you can spend 2 more years, or whatever your choice is, getting a bachelor's degree in college, and you don't have to repeat a bunch of bullshit that really all it does is make education more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and to talk about like how you said the counselors, like that should be their real job, is to find out what you're good at and what you enjoy in high school to place you in a position to be successful. What's next?
Yeah, but there need to
not to say like, hey, you can't get into Stanford, you're an idiot. It should be
Right.
like, oh, we saw that you are really good at cooking. There's this chef school that's taking applicants right now, and you'd probably do great there because they place a lot of people in real restaurants.
Yeah.
Like that should be your job, is like to actually consult them on how to get somewhere.
I think maybe part of the problem with that model is that it is hard for teenagers, even kind of late teenagers, to come up with realistic goals and feel like they know where they want to go.
But that can all be fixed. If we're revamping the program, then you have exposure to more jobs, you have exposure to more activities, you have exposure to like even here we have a kid from my Hogwarts school coming in, and they have something called Exploration Week. I don't know what they call it anymore, but it's basically a week where you go do a job. And so the kid's going to come in here and work for us for a week. He's a senior in high school. It gets him an idea of what running a gym actually is, because everyone thinks you're going to be doing curls all day. Sorry, buddy, you're going to be cleaning toilets with sea bass all day. I guess that's what running a gym is.
Yeah.
And so like you get an actual, and I even did that. I did followed a lawyer around. A great lawyer, really cool guy. He was ex-alum, and he took me to like crime scenes. He took me into court. He took me. Yeah, it was sick. He drove me down to the hood. He said, "Yeah, man, we had a gang fight here, and this is a case I handled that was a shoot off." And he's like showing me around. People were looking at us like crazy. I'm like, he's like, "But I have to come here," and it's like, shit.
Yeah.
But like I got a real taste of what he does.
Yeah. Not what you probably thought it was originally.
Right.
Yeah. So this school basically just had no schooling at all.
Yeah, there was no academic program. There was no facility.
There was no attempt.
There was no attempt. There was no. They were supposed to be feeding these folks, and they were doing it so intermittently because there was no money.
He is smart though, right? So this cat would call the grocery store, order 20 rotisserie chickens at noon.
25.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
And not pick them up.
Right.
And then come back 8 hours later when he knew they were on discount and grab them for $1. Genius.
I never even knew they discounted them like that.
I didn't even know you could order them like that. I just thought what was there was there.
Yeah,
and that's only good like one. That's only works one time though, right? Or one store.
Well, you just go to
no,
different
you just
store.
hop in stores, man. Yeah, you just hop in Costco.
How many times do you think he actually did that though?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's a good story, whether or not it's.
I believe
it's wholly true.
I bet you it's pretty true, and then he found like
repeatably true.
Yeah, he found like other holes and things like that.
I just don't. I'm still like honestly like I feel like I was very confused for how he got away with all this shit.
And how he continues to get away with it.
And how he's like still thinks he's going to keep going.
That part's actually insane.
Well, he's literally insane.
No, he is. But I'm telling you,
he's a sociopath.
I've met people, and I'll mention it off air because one that I know is like this. You guys aren't thinking. But I've met people like this that are literally, they just take the scammiest way, even though the scammiest way is harder than doing things legitimately.
Harder and less sustainable, usually.
Well, and less chance of success, less chance of anything. Like, I know people that will take this scammy way because they think they're getting one up, and they think it's easier. Because they think it's easy. But it's actually fucking harder.
You got to keep up with all that shit.
They say, what's the quote? Like, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. I just don't. So basically, what he did wasn't illegal.
Which is
apparently not, which is crazy.
Like, but there probably is loopholes in the legality that they didn't touch on. Like, taking kids out of school is illegal.
But they didn't have a school to go to.
They did have their public school.
Yeah.
But no, they were out of school.
So like making some for sure were 25, but taking a underage person out of school is illegal. They didn't even talk about that being legal or not. What they talked about is making a fake school is not illegal, which he did.
Yeah.
Okay, but then all the other things are illegal, right? Like and he did get charged for the hotel fines and all his money laundering type shit. That's obviously illegal. But what the OHSA couldn't get him for wasn't illegal. But taking a 17-year-old out of school and promising them they're going to school is illegal.
Yeah, he made it seem like he tried to save himself. He tried to explain himself like these kids had nowhere to go. I gave them a place to go. What's wrong with me?
You're right.
But it's like, well, you fucking lied to them.
Lied to their parents.
Lied to their parents. You had no money. You had no skill or knowledge of the sport of football.
Obviously, it's hindsight, but to see some of the kids' interviews was really sad because it felt so authentic. Like,
oh,
how
that was
ruined they
fucking
were.
sad.
And they're grown ass men too, you know. And they're like, this one kid said, like, I've never cried before, and he's fucking bawling.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, that sucks.
But the scene where this Roy guy and the other coach are watching the video of this guy just breaking down, it's like, basically, you destroyed my life. Well, number one, you can revive your life. It's just not going to be what you think it was going to be. You're not going to play in the NFL or D1.
Already wasn't going to.
It already wasn't going to. Correct.
But he was given false hope.
Correct. He was given a lot of false hope, and they are unfazed. Particularly that Roy guy is fucking almost laughing.
No, he's like mad
at it, and then mad, and then it's like, oh, we did so much for him. It's like, apparently you didn't. Like, I mean, there's. If that's the case, if you did that much for him, then there's a whole bunch of the story that we're not being told or that you didn't tell.
I think the problem with sociopaths, narcissists like this guy
is that they
Roy,
exist.
is that he's convinced himself though that he was helping them. When in reality we all know like this was all a ploy for him to become famous and to be in the spotlight he's always wanted. But he's convinced himself that he was helping these people by lying to them and giving them a fucking shitty hotel room to stay in that he wasn't paying for. It's like, no, you weren't helping anybody. You were just inconveniencing these people.
Yeah.
You weren't helping anyone. You were kind of given this like job of keeping them somewhat alive at the most minimal level and like giving them this like dream that's not real. Like that's not helping anyone. You're actually like not helping anything.
And the eviction notices and eviction filings being actually on the kids' names.
Yeah, he was using their names.
Yeah.
And then the whole fucking PPP loan shit.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that part. So the beginning of this did seem like a Disneyland scam, like very like minimal. All right, I'm gonna take him out of school. I'm gonna lie. We're gonna go win some football games. Mm-hmm. And then you start to dive in, and that he's getting paid, and that he's making these kids pay him, although he's saving their life from the hood, and he's making their parents take out loans. Oh, you can't pay for their schooling? Don't worry about it. There's these things, PPP loans, and you can pay me with that. How much money did this motherfucker make from this?
He's saying that he made none.
He had to, right? Like if he made every kid pay $12,000 from loans into his pocket, and then he's not paying the hotels, he's not paying the food. Like he had to make money somewhere.
Well, I think that's where I was confused. Like they kind of talked about these things and never like proved or disproved like if those PP loans went through or if they even got them. Like they just never like followed up on that.
But the kids have to share helmets, but he's got a brand new Nike Dry Fit with his logo on it.
Where was he? Like, so what was that? Okay, I kind of got confused. Like, I was kind of with the kids, and like it was on. What was the part with the life insurance policies at the very beginning?
I
the
think
$100,000 life insurance policies that the
yeah.
church was doing, or something that they were getting a ton of money from at the very beginning.
So the church ran a scam. It sounded like that. You would take out a life insurance policy, and part of the payment that would normally go to your spouse or kids when you died, they would have you, which actually isn't that scammy, like if you really believe in your church and community, that you would take a percentage of that and put it in your trust that it would go to the church. Correct. So basically, and I think that's kind of normal. Maybe
that's
not
normal for church stuff.
Or like even rich people, right? Like if they're like, if they're really about drunk driving. So I would make my life insurance go, 60% to my kids and 40% to the research of cancer or something. Like I think that's kind of normal. Yeah. It's just that it was being run by scam artists that make it felt really bad.
So then,
right?
And then
I think that's what they did.
And then he was getting some of that money for this team.
I think,
but then that ran out really quick because that only that relationship lasted like what, 6 months?
Yeah, because the church cut him off quickly
because they realized they were dealing with the con artists.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The end of the interview, and obviously it's edited, so who knows if it was actually the end of the interview or they just put it in the movie. He goes on like a Joker thing. He's like laughing with his eyes all open.
Oh, and his big smile.
Yeah, he's like, oh, but you're talking about me. More TVs on the way. More kids are gonna be helped. And I'm like, bro, you're fucking.
Do you think anybody's gonna go to your school after watching this?
He's somewhere between. This isn't as racially as it may sound, but he's somewhere between Get Out and fucking Joker.
Yeah.
He's fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's like, oh, Michael Strahan called me, and here I am.
Yeah.
My big plan.
You thought I lost, but I'm friends with Michael Strahan.
It's like,
So, yeah, Michael Strahan's production company was involved in this.
Yeah.
Along with, obviously, the directors Trayvon Free and Martin Desmond Rowe. Adam McKay's Hyper Object Industries, Spencer Panger's More Street Productions, Boat Rocker Media, and The Athletic produced this documentary for HBO Sports.
So he's so delusional that he thinks that like the Strahan relationship's gonna like project him.
He's gonna end up on ESPN Sports Center with him.
It's like,
announcing.
Dude, kids were making up plays from Madden on the field.
That is so insane.
Which is like probably not that crazy because Madden probably uses real plays.
They do.
But the point is like you're not a coach.
Yeah, I wish they would have touched more on the fact that he had zero experience coaching.
Yeah.
Like they kind of did, but it's like, how'd they even run a single play? Did he have other guys on the team that maybe knew how to coach?
Or like his assistant coach seemed like he was an offensive coordinator or something, right?
Remember when the kids were getting fucked? This isn't funny, but like, but it is. Not the kids getting hurt isn't what's funny, but like the fact that like the kids got hurt on that game, like against these grown men.
Yeah.
And then they had no medical staff.
It's his wife.
So the mom was out there. Like
that's the ESPN game.
Yeah, and even the announcers were starting to say like, "This is not looking good or safe anymore." You're like, and they touch on that as the documentary. Like when the announcers can't fake it anymore.
Yeah.
That these kids are. I mean, they're actually grown men getting beat up by boys, which makes it all even funnier and worse.
Yeah.
Sad, but funnier and worse. Like they're getting beat up by 16-year-olds.
If you were really trying to do this in a legitimate way, you would have to have, like starting any business, you need a minimum viable product.
Yeah.
He did not have a minimum viable product.
Well, because he didn't even have any money.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have like a skill. Like the first thing I'm doing when I'm trying to start this is I'm either going to become the best football coach I can as myself, or I'm going to hire the best football coach I know. Right? That's step one. Because then we have something to recruit with, and we have a product. Because I have trust that this coach can whip some players into shape, and we can get somewhere. Right? So like, his step one was like, get an architect to make a $1 billion rendering of a campus.
Yeah,
that was his step one.
Yeah,
like how do we look cool?
Money that was never going to happen.
Yeah, how do we look cool? I don't know if you have IMG money.
Well, the thing is that IMG didn't start with football.
No, for sure. But even still, like
it was into the 2000s, I think, or the 90s at least, before they started doing football at all.
Yeah, but they probably had big money backers.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they did.
Yeah, exactly. They had investors.
But like the business model's like been proven. Like there is like.
But they probably hired a real coach. They
had
real facility.
They had years to build up how the program was going to work,
for sure.
And start early recruiting before they ever played their first game.
This guy was driving around neighborhoods, picking up kids off the street.
Essentially, yeah.
Which
he said he did that.
Like even in that, like isn't the worst part either, right? Because like there is potential kids out there that like can't stay in school but are talented athletes. You know, like there's ways to recruit like that, and you've heard like dream stories, even like The Blind Side. Right? Like, I know that just took a turn. But
it took a dark turn. Yeah.
But it's also like a non-surprising turn. But
no, for sure. Because even the movie alludes to it.
Yeah, it was kind of like
the story in the movie alludes to it, and then in the movie he lies about it and covers them up. But obviously there's some truth there. But the point is that it's just a big old kid, really athletic, not great at academics, and he finds a place in football. You know, so like there are stories and truths to that. And I've known guys growing up that just literally would skip school all day. Or, you know, like the typical story. They would just skip school all day, but they're crazy athletes. So like recruiting, all that like is like some of the smart stuff he did. You know what I mean? Because the other kids that are in the system are already, they're the Tim Tebows. They're already going to IMG. They're already getting recruited by USC.
If you're looking for underdog talent, maybe he's on something.
Or just misplaced. Yeah, misplaced talent.
Okay, but how hard is it to recruit degenerate kids, like, and promising them this fucking dream that doesn't exist.
I think easy when you tell them when you're talking to a 16-year-old and you say you ain't got to go to class.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And,
like, so what he did,
you can go to a D1 school.
Yeah, so, I think that part's easy. It's sad. Very.
So he didn't really have any skills. He was just a liar.
Yeah, he was a salesman.
Yeah, he's just. But at least like some salesmen are actually selling real products and have like real. Like you don't just because you're a salesman doesn't mean you're a con artist,
no,
right?
If he had a moral compass and wasn't, he probably has true narcissistic personality disorder. If he doesn't have that, he's probably a really good salesman. Because the only thing that makes a good salesman a bad salesman is like your skill of talking to people.
He would thrive in a legit scenario. Probably.
That's what I mean.
If he was like a good
if he was
person.
selling cars and he had a moral compass, he'd probably be the best car salesman on the planet.
Yeah.
I didn't see this in the show, and I just read it now, and it's so ironic. The only class that they offered that the kids had to take, only class, was a religious class taught by him.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Nice. Fucking up their moral compass too.
Yeah. Who knows what he told them, but it.
Oh, we didn't even the fact that he ran over those birds in the street as like a lesson.
And
he
says like, oh yeah, well I hit a bird and turned it to a lesson. Meanwhile, the kid's like, no, he was going in reverse. Like he was running it over multiple times.
And he said a bird, and the kid's like, no, it was a flock of birds.
Yeah, hit the accelerator,
ran them over, and then backed back into them.
Yeah, crazy people shit. That's Joker shit.
Yeah, he's a psycho.
Yeah, it's Joker shit. He's weird, bro. I don't know how this story, and maybe it was big news, and I was just living under a rock here at the gym, but I feel like it didn't make that big a national news.
Because it was 2021.
Yeah.
That is ESPN game.
Yeah, and obviously, he started in like 2019. This feels like a Barbara Walters sit down with a psycho interview. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Like I want Barbara Walters to fucking grill this guy.
I'm shocked that we weren't seeing like the whites of his eyes above the iris. That.
Yeah, he's fucked.
That crazy.
Dude, yeah.
When the poor guy with him too, like is he fucked up or is he just like bought in? I mean, because you can't really blame the kids either or the videographer, but you kind of can.
The videographers should have figured it out. The only reason that the videographers did not do more, I think, is because videographers in that circumstance never expect to make any money. It's like you're trying to make a project that will get you money in the future.
But they said it was the biggest contract ever.
Yeah, and they don't expect to get expect to get actual like acclaim or anything.
I think if you don't have that contract, you do.
Yeah.
But they said they had a contract with them for the biggest day they've ever had.
Yeah, but they never got it.
But they never got it. They got
I know, but
$3,000 out of the whole thing or something like that.
No, less.
$60. They said they split $60.
But how you're talking
each.
is what they expect going in like as volunteer work. But they went in being pitched a contract.
Yeah.
That's a much different mentality.
Well, I'm not even.
That's why I'm saying like I do blame them in some sense.
My point is though, when you're promised something, trust me, I have experience on this. When you're promised something and then it doesn't come through, you think, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I should never have believed it. Maybe it's me. I didn't bring enough to the table, or maybe this is just how it is when you do this kind of job. Sometimes you just get screwed. I don't know. I just don't. From experience, like videographers don't necessarily have the greatest self-esteem to pull themselves out of shitty situations.
It's definitely a common thing I've seen, like personally, through like just being in any industry of fitness. You see a lot of people trying to make content from that, right? And you see a lot of people working hard to. Like, am I working my way up? Is this like something that's going to pay off like down the road? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It is funny that in 2020, the second piece to building a legendary football team is a content team.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a personal trainer.
Right.
It's not a fucking quarterback coach. It's not a fucking running back coach. It's not anything to do with a product. Again, it's like, how do we just film bad football?
Yeah,
we have bad football, but how do we film it? Yeah. How do we make a dope Instagram clip?
Yeah, their little hype videos were pretty good.
They weren't bad, and that's just like such like the capsule of where we're at in the world right now.
Yeah,
and I hate it. Right? Like, well, we're not good at anything. We're not going anywhere. We have no product to sell, give, or show off. But let's film whatever bullshit we do have and get some likes. How do we get likes from the bullshit we have? Rather than like, how do we build a really fucking sick football team, and then our highlights will come. Like that's literally our culture.
He went to the most extreme angle on everything possible.
Yeah.
As far as like lying in perception, right? The whole like the school not being real.
Right.
The videos of the worst football ever played filmed to look good. You know what I mean? Like he just went to like the fakest level possible on everything to where all together, if you looked at it, you're like, there's no way this could be fake, because how could someone fake all of this? But he somehow figured out how to fake everything.
I do wonder
which is insane.
What the actual talent of the kids were, because like even in the the end of the doc and the end of the movie, they always say where the kids are at now, and some are still like chasing their football dream. If like maybe they were like decent. And
some of them got some college. Some
one's playing at Louisville. Louisville's not a joke. If you walk on to Louisville,
two of them,
I mean that's legitimate. And even the other kids are like, oh, they're still like chasing their football dreams, so they can't be bad.
Yeah, what does that mean though? Like the kid was working at like at a meat butcher shop, and he's like chasing his football dream. Like, well, what is he doing? Is he playing?
Yeah, working out. But either way,
is he making meat footballs?
Yeah, is he making meat footballs? Is he gonna become like some kind of like meat cake company? You know, out of football
you just
teams?
wanted the vocational school, or maybe he's tapping in. Yeah. But like they're probably good. That's my point, is that like maybe this plan is only missing a couple puzzle pieces. Obviously, a psycho leader is not one we need. But if you have like a real football coach, maybe this team can play. You don't have two kids go to Louisville. We don't have we have very few schools here in SAC that have that.
No,
and we have good football here.
Yeah,
like two kids going to a big D1 school is big.
And it also was pulling from a big talented area, right? That Ohio football is like a real like high school Ohio football is those kids have been playing for a long time.
Bro,
so they're all probably pretty good.
I went to one of my dad's friends' kids. I know it was a stretch. Dad's really good friend's kids game 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I don't even know. And it felt like, remember the fucking Titans, bro. The whole city's out there. We're out in like some suburb a little bit deep from Cleveland, but it's fucking shut down. It's about the size of one of our junior college fields. There's probably 1,000 people there, and it's fucking fire, man. Like people wearing jerseys and shit, face paint.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah. It's a real deal out there. There's talent everywhere,
for sure.
Yeah, there's talent everywhere.
Well, then that kind of that fucked up story with the quarterback kid got suicidal.
Yeah,
and then
he got a scholarship and then got taken away because of this motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, that
was really sad.
So like, did that mean that like he was ineligible because he didn't because of that? I don't understand that. That didn't make sense to me.
Probably just NC2A rules and shit.
But it's like, okay, but look, dude, this guy was a scam artist. He fucked up. Like, there's no way they could like just look past that.
I know it sucks.
It's up to the school, right? Or is it NC?
It might be NC2A. It might be NC2A.
So he never got to play?
Yeah, maybe not.
Or he has to wait an extra year.
I don't know. Maybe both.
Oh man.
No, it does suck.
I didn't understand that what the outcome was there. I think the last screens show what they were doing, but I don't remember what his deal was.
I don't think they went back to him.
No, they didn't.
I think I was kind of looking for it, and I don't think they mentioned.
No, I don't think they mentioned him at the very, very end. It sounded like he just lost his college career.
We didn't get to see any one of these kids play well ever.
Yeah,
in the whole thing.
That might have been like on purpose, right? That's I guess what was my point of like some of these kids were good.
Part of the editorial.
Part of the story is that how bad they were, but they probably weren't that bad.
Well, they showed them get a first down on that first play against the IMG or whatever.
And they lost 100-0 on the best team in the world.
Yeah,
like I've lost by 40 points in high school to like the best team in California. Like you get shit on.
Yeah,
and I was good. I'm not in the NBA.
Yeah,
but there's levels to this shit.
Shit, I mean, the Cowboys won by like almost 40, 50 points.
Yeah, if you've never got shit on, you've just never played freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's anyone listening. That's anyone fucking listening. You've just and people said like, damn, you lost by 40. Like, yeah, the entire roster starting 5 had D1 offers. Yes, I got shit on. The point guard
started lucky to have one.
He started at University of Kentucky. Like, yeah, I got fucking manhandled.
Can we talk for a second about the fact that the guy who scheduled their games felt like he was still bought in some bizarre ass way?
That's kind of what I was bringing up when I brought up the assistant coach and the filmographers and that guy. Like you have to hold some responsibility for being duped. That guy, why would you just pitch these games to a school that's been around a year?
Yeah.
And has no track record. Like why are you the matchmaker for a team? They should have to have some kind of proof of concept.
I guess I don't know. I think I read this, but maybe it was in the doc that a lot of them have trouble finding teams to play because they're too good and nobody wants to just like get their ass handed to them.
That could be it. They want to save face, protect the record.
So all that is important. Only going based on my experience as a coach and as a player, because we were at a very small school where I was at, but we were pretty good. So we could show up to a D2, D3 school, and we played them in summer league and a couple in season, and we'd win. You, as the big school, choosing who your opponent is very important, because you don't want to lose to some little bumfuck, because your record's shot. And obviously IMG is like top dog, but like there's a lot of schools in SAC that wouldn't play us in the regular season because even if we pull an upset, your season's gone.
Yeah.
So like at that level, having a matchmaker or whatever that guy's official title was makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense because we don't have that here. Here it's your head coach calling a head coach and trying to convince him, hey man, you want to schedule a game for December? Yeah, my team's pretty decent this year, but we're not great.
So let me ask you this question because I don't know the answer to it, and things may not even be the same now. But in high school basketball, are in conference and out of conference games counted differently?
I think so. I think it's kind of like a BCS ranking, because then at the end of the season, at least historically, I haven't coached in 10 years, but historically, the head coaches would have a meeting at the end of the season. Of the section and the people that are going to the section and kind of give a power ranking discussion. You'd basically lay on the ground, hey, if I'm the coach of my school, Hogwarts, say, hey, we beat this amount of teams. These teams had these records. This is why I think I should be ranked in the top 5. And you'd come in, hey, we beat these teams preseason and regular season. This team's, D1 playoffs, and we won. And you make like a kind of a judicial argument of where you should be ranked. And then I think it's a voting system. Maybe there might be a BCS. Maybe that's even just for conference. And then here, the CIF, the California whatever, in the Sac Joaquin section, those people would have a board that would take your conference and then their conference, and they build like a whole BCS power ranking.
Okay.
Yeah. So they do both matter just as much here.
Okay. Because I feel like in football, at least when I was, a long time ago, some games didn't matter at all, and some games absolutely mattered.
So you could call them a scrimmage. If you call it a scrimmage, now it's not on record. So that would happen too. It's the same with summer league. Like Monterey Trail's a huge school here. They wouldn't play us in season because we put it on them in a summer league. Why are they going to go play Hogwarts in season and make like off season? Who gives a shit? It's just a workout. But in season, now our record's shot. It's
kind of weird too, though, because you think about it in terms of games, but it's really more gamesmanship. It's like which games are you willing to play?
Kind of, especially at this high IMG level. That's why without this matchmaker, they never take this game.
Right.
This matchmaker must have had a really good.
He got BS'd real hard.
But he must have a really good history of trust.
That it didn't wipe him out in the process.
That too, but why would IMG even listen to him in the first place? That's my point. Like he must have like a long track record of trust.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that they picked that game and that team, like that Hall of Fame game. Like, of all the teams that have wanted to play that team, they fucking picked this Bishop Sycamore.
That's what I'm saying. It had to be this matchmaker.
That's just crazy.
It had to be this matchmaker who got duped really hard, who must have had the best track record and reputation of trust. Like, every coach in major prep school and high school must trust this matchmaker guy. Because no one's doing that. Because then ESPN trusted them, right? Like, everyone trusted IMG and this matchmaker.
Right.
Nobody trusted a brand new school.
This game was early in the season. They had only played one game.
But it was their second season?
3 days before.
But no, there was one before that. But the matchmaker guy didn't know anything about
BS.
That they were going to play a game a day, like not 2 days before.
But it wasn't BS's first season.
It was their second season, but they only played 3 games in their first season.
Yeah, I don't know. It was literally just a matchmaker.
They never won a game.
They never won a game.
It was just a matchmaker.
I mean, they're like in wrestling, they're kind of a jobber, right?
Yeah. But I mean, what must have happened is you whip out a one sheet fucking marketing thing, BS, brand new up and coming school. likeliness to IMG, likeliness to all these schools, and you have a picture rendering of your stadium, and you send that to the matchmaker, and the matchmaker believes you, and then the matchmaker sends that to ESPN, and ESPN just reads your resume like, oh, brand new school, similar to IMG. Oh, all right.
Well, the one guy said the rules are not more specific because you don't think that someone's gonna just like do an end run on them.
Yeah, who's gonna make a fake school?
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't rules against this,
but if you hear IMG makes $80 million, it's very likely to make a fake school.
Well, I think why the guy was also so confused about and why there's not rules against, because it's like no one benefits from that.
Well, just him.
Like
IMG money.
But no one's gonna pay to go there if they watch you just get obliterated.
Long term for sure.
And get hurt.
Long term for sure. But if those PPP loans went through, there's 50 kids on a high school football team, and they're each paying $12K, and you're not paying anything. That's a lot of income.
He has all those kids' social security numbers.
Yeah. Creepy.
And home addresses and all of that.
Yeah,
all that.
That's where it got all dark. In the beginning, it was like, all right, this guy's an idiot, and he wants to put together a Mighty Ducks style fucking Disney football team. Ducks. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, okay, this could be cool. This guy means well. And then you go Social Security, then you go, and then it gets real fucking.
And he starts beating up his girlfriend.
Yeah, in front of them.
Yeah,
killing geese for no reason with a bus. Now you're like, all right, this guy's actually just the Joker. Yeah, I thought it was Mighty Ducks, dude.
You thought it was Mighty? You thought he had the Bash Bros?
Yeah. He recruited off the street.
Yeah,
he recruited the fucking knuckle puck kid off the street too. Goldberg. That was a great movie.
So the thing that gets me is that kind of in society, the people most likely to fall for a scam are people kind of at in the struggle zone.
Sure.
Who are just desperate to make something happen, to change their circumstance, whatever, and they want to take care of their family. They want to, they want to ease off the money pressure, and in the hopes that all of the other pressures would subside. Like the family stress or whatever. Or people who have a shit ton of money, and they're just looking for, some kind of multiplier that feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, people on both ends that have less shits to give.
Yeah. Like one because they just have less shit, period, and others because they're so secure that they might lose some face, but people at the same time, people are like, oh yeah, that was a gutsy gamble, man.
I haven't watched it yet, but what's the? It's older now, but there's a concert series that fell through like this. It's supposed to be like
Fry Festival.
Fire Festival.
Fire Festival.
Is that similar to this? I never watched that, but it sounds like it is.
I would watch the Hulu one. Is way better than the Netflix one or whatever.
Who was leading that? Not Ja Rule, Soulja Boy.
Ja Rule was attached to it.
Yeah.
Watch the one on Hulu.
Because is that kind of in this ballpark?
It's similar.
Is he kind of like Roy? Yeah.
It was very similar.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And there's another one coming.
Yeah.
Not documentary, but festival.
Yeah, legit one.
Apparently he's supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But his whole scam, on a quick thing, is he just sold the fake package, the pamphlet to celebrities, and then basically was going to hire or pay them to then post. He paid them to post on their Instagrams, to use social media to push this thing, to get people to sign up for something that he had no idea how to actually set up.
That wasn't actually moving.
Yeah, and he tried to do it, and people started coming because it was he had 3 months to do it.
Yeah.
And it takes a year to set up
plus,
for a festival.
Yeah.
He tried to do it in 3 months on an island that was uninhabitable. Literally it was just impossible to work. He had no clue. It's amazing documentary. The Hulu one's really good because they interview, I think he's in it in the Hulu one.
The guy running it.
Yeah, and you get to see his Royness.
Or what's the other one we did? WeWork. That guy had some Roy in him.
Remember the Roy part remember when Roy said on camera, he was like, I don't know if you really believe this or not. He's like, man, I never knew in one point in my life I'd have enough money to rent out a whole 30
hotel.
rooms in a whole entire hotel. I'm like,
yeah, but you're not paying it.
But you're not. You don't.
Yeah.
You're scamming.
Yeah. He's got a filter on his entire life.
He had. You could come back to the Joker. He had the Joker laugh.
Yeah.
He
was weird.
A Joker laugh.
Yeah, and a weird smile.
Yeah.
What was that one part where he said something about oh, I never told her that, and they're like, well, we have the email or the text message where you did. And he's like, well, I know.
Or like kids, yeah, there's something else like that too, and then they literally show the paper where the kid wrote something. You know, he's like, "Oh, I didn't make them sign anything," and then they like flashes to a piece of paper where a kid signed a contract to some crazy shit.
Yeah,
you're like, no, like literally, there's proof you're psycho,
dude. It's like 300 charges against him, right? Felonies.
Yeah, something insane. The story's wild. The pace of the movie is actually pretty good because there's so much. There's obviously answers you want to have, and you almost want more, which I think is always better, right? Rather than other documentaries give you too much of
Swamp
boring.
King.
Yeah, just too much. Where this, you're like, damn, I wish they could have dove in here more because he's so crazy, or I want to hear more about the money, or more about the recruiting. There's semi-unanswered stuff, but it's kind of good unanswered because he's crazy. You're never going to know the answer. And you'll never know the truth, right? Because not everything was filmed. But the length was good because some of these shits go on fucking forever.
The food, remember he just like they wouldn't eat the mac and cheese because it was so awful looking. So
did you see the picture of the one?
It was bad.
The picture was so funny. Even the mom said something like, "I didn't know if that was oatmeal or okra or what the fuck it was." It's like, yeah, that shit looked crazy.
And then they would just like heat it up the next day. And
it looked like
and they still
days and days and days.
Yeah, it looked like the cream of corn, like a week old.
Oh, dude, it looked really bad.
That was that really sad scene where he like goes to that kid's door. He's like, "Oh, you good? Need anything?" He's like, "Dude, I'm fucking hungry, man."
Yeah, and then they just cut. They don't really carry on.
And then like, oh, dude, those poor kids, man.
I think that's when they cut to getting them to steal from the grocery store.
Yeah, they're all running around.
That's right.
Bags of ice.
They should have he should have gotten some kind of charges for like child neglect.
No, for
these
sure.
Minors. Like this guy should be in fucking jail.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the rules of like starting a fake school and all that. Okay, I understand the semantics there, but like no, he's taken like at least some of them had to be under 18.
Yeah.
Because like I guess if you're over 18, you're consenting to. Right, I could say, "Hey, Dean, beat the fuck out of me," and if I consent, you can beat the fuck out of me. So, but if they're underage and he takes them from his parents and he scams them and he doesn't feed them, like there's definitely got to be some jail time.
How is this guy? I don't understand.
Because his other ones were like fraud stuff, but this is like criminal. We should call a lawyer.
I don't understand it. Yeah,
I read something and I don't have it in front of me now what the actual situation with him now is because
he thinks he's got to have a season.
Well, that's what it's in the documentary, but that's not happening.
Yeah, for sure. It would be technically happening right now.
Correct.
Right? Is the high school football on right now?
Yeah.
Same as college, right? Same schedule, same type of year, time of year, Mike?
Yeah. Probably started in August.
Yeah.
So if he was
going, he's going.
Yeah, there's just no fucking way though.
Playing one game this season.
It's not even possible. Yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. One of the craziest stories I've ever heard. Like as far as in the sports world.
And how new it is. You would think crazy shit would be less likely now with social media.
You would think, yeah.
But he in some ways used social media to be crazier.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Because that's the Because like in the 80s, when no one knows, you're just creeping around on paper, you can make fake shit. He made a fake check. But then he's like, it wasn't a fake check, it was the real number. They're like, you went to fucking Kinko's. He's like, but it was the real number.
Yeah,
that's crazy person
he tried to gaslight the person. Like he does that whole when he's lying he's so animated when he lies. He does like the whole like
no, you're crazy.
Like, what do you mean? That's totally normal. You just I just changed the name on it. What's wrong with you? That's
Which like it is normal sometimes to prove it, right? You would like give them the check and then they would copy it and give it to you as almost like a receipt. But like no, you're literally just making fake money.
That's crazy. I mean, in reality, banks don't have to accept them, but you can write a check on anything as long as it's got the account number. And,
another loophole.
And your signature, whatever. It doesn't even have to have a check number or any of that kind of stuff. If the bank is willing to accept it. Not every bank is going to do that.
He just knows all these little things, these little tricks.
Yeah, he's smart. He's not an idiot.
No, he's not an idiot, but he's like, I don't know. He's like chaotic evil.
No, he's evil. He's evil.
Oh, he's very evil.
Because even the rotisserie thing, that's smart.
That's very smart.
It's bad. You're evil, but he's not dumb.
Yeah, and then the whole, I mean, just like, what about like, what's the repercussions of putting these kids unprepared in front of these kids, like them getting hurt and him just like. The guy's
ACLs everywhere.
Remember the kid was rolling over, holding his ACL. He kept like grabbing him and like turning him back over onto his back, like almost like yelling at him.
The one kid said, "My knee snapped." He said, "Does it hurt?" He's like, "Not really." He's like, "You can play." And the kid ends up having a ripped ACL.
Dude, and the other kid broke his ankle. That shouldn't have been court. Remember, in that game he had two kids that were like receivers or cornerbacks, and he had them playing quarterback.
Yeah, it's just the weakest looking throw I've ever seen.
Oh, they were just kidding. That shouldn't even have been on. They should have just like cut the feed. But no, they have to sell commercials.
Yeah, commercials.
I'm trying to find out what I was reading about.
I wish I would have saw that game live and just been so confused.
Some people did, right?
Yeah, a lot of people.
They were probably so confused.
They were probably like, how is this on TV?
Yeah.
They were throwing the ball off someone's helmet.
Wow, they didn't really bring the game plan today. Like, what's the excuse?
He's just like on the sidelines, just like holding an empty clipboard.
Yeah, 'cause he doesn't know what to call. He's drinking the Gatorade.
He's drinking it.
He's just sipping the Gatorade on the sideline instead of coaching.
Because they don't have any of their own drinks, so it's probably provided.
Yeah, that was the only nutrition they've had is provided by ESPN.
Probably so.
Yeah.
SB Nation had an article on this, and they had the 10 most shocking revelations. I guess maybe we'll just run through this and sort of in conclusion here. Roy Johnson interned with the New York Jets under Belichick and Bill Parcells. That was pretty shocking.
That was huge. That's why I thought this was going to go somewhere good.
Yeah. Entire plan for Bishop Sycamore was basically an insurance scam, what Mike was referring to earlier. Upon learning it would take $150 million in funding to build a school and a sports program, probably a lot more than that, Johnson formulated an insurance scheme to get funding involved signing church parishioners up for life insurance policies with wording that left a percentage of their policy on death to the school, not the church, but the school.
So what's it like? Someone has to die though for him to get that money?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
then he probably went and killed them.
That's a long game unless you're.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know.
Unless you're into murder.
Well, and depending on churches, sometimes there's a lot of old folks.
They're probably targeting the older people.
Yeah, but the premiums on life insurance for if you're old,
are higher.
Are crazy unless you can find some company that's willing to take a low premium and pay out a big.
He wasn't known to be in a rich area.
No. Johnson has a really disturbing way of viewing athletes. Prevailing theme throughout Roy Johnson's interviews in BS High is that he's totally unhinged. Early in the documentary, he explains that part of the appeal of being a coach or a general manager is being the man in charge of gladiators. Later, when he's probed about why he didn't put a stop to his scheme when the funding ran out, he quips, "I'm Magneto. These are my mutants, and I'm fighting for them." I saw that part. He's like, he's not wild. Professor X. He's Magneto. I clocked that when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Sycamore targeted and preyed on kids with shaky family lives. Everybody was ripped off by Roy Johnson.
He's a predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His video team sold on the idea that they'd become the communications department for his fake high school were paid $60 for gas in exchange for 6 months of work. An $800 paintball outing for the players designed to project wealth was unpaid, and player housing was booked on net 90 terms in hotels and never paid. Okay.
Who's going paintballing to project wealth? What is it?
Yeah, the paintball fucking thing was $800. Just runs. Team bonding and runs.
Just doesn't fucking just dine and dashes.
Dine and dash.
Dine and dashes of paintball, small business.
Shoot and scoot.
Yeah, kind of a bastard.
You know how many fucking weekends or how many outings it takes for that company to make that paintball money? Like that's not a high profit industry.
Yeah, I know. And it's just like some random young guy.
He's just trying to make it, just doing honest work, getting
more
family.
Fucked.
Like the retention on someone playing paintball is so low. You go like once and then that's it.
And you're done.
Like that's it for most people. Very small percentage continue to play week in, week out. So for that guy to use up all that paint and all that rental and all that's a huge fucking loss for that guy.
The next one is how he scammed grocery stores. We talked about that. This part I think we haven't really touched on, and I think it's critical. Their ineptitude masked the fraud when it comes to age, because he had these big kids who were up to 23 years old, but they were so awful, no one ever called that into question.
Right. Yeah. If they're actually Alabama talent, top to bottom, and they're shitting on high school kids, this gets shut down right away.
Right.
23-year-olds playing against high schoolers.
16-year-olds.
That's such a huge gap.
I know, and they're ripping ACLs. I almost now feel bad making fun of the players because they already got scammed by this dickhead. But you're getting shit on by 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
that's not good either.
No,
that probably broke the pride more than all this fucking scam.
Well,
shit.
Part of it too. I mean, if it was handled like a real team, if they had real practices with real game plans, real coaches, all this stuff, they might have been better.
Maybe. Who knows though? There are some freaky fucking seniors in high school, right? That's if they're not talented, that's why I wanted to know, are these kids actually talented? Because some did end up at Louisville.
Yeah.
But if the rest of them are, jamokes,
and
you're playing the best of the best,
Yeah, you're still gonna
get shit on.
That'd be like me going out there just because I'm older doesn't mean shit.
Bro, I played a pro-am. I was 21, probably in the best shape, best basketball shape, best mind shape. I was in my prime. I was killing. Like, I'm playing NBA cats. This kid, Mike Bryson, he's fucking sophomore, junior or senior in high school, full ride to UCSB, just comes and dunks all over my, like, they're like, yeah, go guard him. I was like, oh, this little kid, he's 6'8", but he's a kid. I could tell, no facial hair, just shits all over him. I'm like, all right, well, he played in the NBA. He's a 16-year-old headed to the NBA. I'm fucking Mario and Luigi, 21 in my prime. There's levels.
Yeah, no kidding. The other ones we've sort of touched on that didn't just destroy them mentally and physically, but also financially.
Yeah. If they're eviction stuff, and if they took out loans in their own name at like 17, they're fucked. That could last 10 years of fuckness.
Well, that one kid they were interviewing, and they told the kid on air or on the video that he has a PPP. He had 2 PPP loans out in his name.
Yeah, 20K.
And he didn't even know.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah, didn't even know because he used their information.
He fraudulently signed him, probably.
Exactly. And then the biggest shocker that there's just no remorse at all. There's no from him or his other coach guy. I don't know. His other coach guy could have been fine in another circumstance,
right?
But he committed to this.
Why is he still around?
And he committed to the bit at the end.
Yeah, and he's in the fucking documentary. Like, I'd be so ashamed. I'd move to South America and change my name.
He's still wearing. Like,
he's bought in. If he's going on the documentary,
he's
you're
still wearing
bought
the
in.
merch too.
He's obviously got
team
some
gear
issues as well because you're committing to the bit.
Yeah, well, look at any cult leader. Like this guy could easily start a cult.
No, he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he did. Yeah, he did. They're gonna be his loyal people that are thinking like everybody else is crazy and this guy's right.
I do wish they would have talked to some of the parents a little more.
Yeah, they only talked about 2.
And one was like, if they would have dug in there, you would have really probably saw some emotion.
2 moms, no dads, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw any dads.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other problem.
That's a whole other issue.
That's half the reason why they were there.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have anybody to guide them in the right direction.
When that was the string in the story, right?
Yeah.
Is that he took advantage of the dad-coach relationship
Yep.
to some young men that were looking for some help.
Then he said, like, I told these kids some dark things that you guys don't even know what I would say to get people motivated. You got to say some horrible things. He was probably, like, going low.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah, he was a psycho.
All right, let's rate this puppy. I think that our rating scale should be roadkill geese.
Oh, man.
I might go like a 4. 4 killed geese. The story's just so crazy. Like, you can think about it after the documentary and you still realize it's crazier. Sometimes when you talk about it or you see it first, you're like, oh, that was kind of crazy, and then you forget about it. But this one was like actually pretty fucking nuts, and it's so modern, right? It's so modern. It was really interesting, and then the pace of it's pretty good. It dabbles in football, it dabbles in kids, it dabbles in business, it dabbles in church, it dabbles in all these things. So I thought it was really good, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down on the 4.
4 geesers.
Yeah, I don't know what would be a 5 at this point, but like.
I think Icarus. I don't know if you did Icarus with this.
I've seen it many times.
I loved Icarus.
Icarus is good.
That's like a 4.8 to me.
That's a high praise.
That's like one of the best.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And Last Dance is pretty good if you're a basketball fan.
We have to do Last Dance.
Yeah, it's so good. Last Dance is so good.
I have to rewatch it, but
it's like a 4.5 to me. To me, obviously.
The Jordan, just the aura of Jordan.
It's so good. The interviews are good.
Yeah, that's true.
How many geese, Jim?
I would say, okay, on story, purely on just on the story existing in the world, that's a 5.
Yeah, the story's nutty. Yeah, the study seems fake.
For damn sure.
That seems fake.
So crazy.
But I would also say 4 on the execution. Yeah. It was well executed. It moved fast. It didn't lag at any point.
If he wasn't,
it didn't repeat itself.
No, yeah, moved on because there's so many things to touch on. If he wasn't psycho though, he doesn't do that interview.
No.
Like, there's no, like, he's psycho. That's why I know he has real narcissistic traits, because he knows going into the interview, or to him, going in the interview, this is a glorified story, right?
Yeah.
He's good in this movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because any other person with morals knows that you're about to get flamed for being an idiot, and you're not agreeing to the interview.
What's the rating with him not in it?
Yeah, it's probably
I think
0.
it really brings it down.
Yeah, it's
he
probably
elevates
really bad.
it.
Because
you
can't see that it's true.
Yeah.
Well, then it's just a victim story.
Yeah.
But here you're like, no, dude, you're telling me what you want me to hear, and I still know you're lying.
Yeah. Well, it tells you that Michael Strahan is smart enough to know that he's got to grease this guy.
Yeah, he's probably shooting him funny texts. Being buddies with him
to keep him on the hook
for sure.
To
you killed it, bro.
Expose himself the way he did. And to not be willing to say. I mean, he said, "I'm the what did he say? The most honest liar."
Yeah, something like that.
Some bullshit like that.
Yeah, some backwards joker phrase.
Yeah. Just to not realize that you're the villain of the story, or to maybe revel in being the villain.
Yeah, half and half.
Half and half. Yeah,
because I still think he thinks he's good.
Yeah.
Well, he even said at one part, he was like, you know what they say in business is even if you don't have the money, you do all the things that people with the money have.
He said that's his business goal.
First off, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
It's sad, but that is kind of how social media projects rich people.
Correct.
Yeah, everything on social media is bullshit.
Habits of rich people. Yeah. And I interviewed 10 rich people, and this is what they do, and, you know.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't work.
It's just a bullshit thing, yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's because it sounds accomplishable.
Right.
It's like a too broad expansion of dress for the job you want to have.
Right.
Yeah, you can wear a suit every day.
There's pieces.
Yeah.
There's pieces.
You can wear a suit every day to high school, but you're just going to be that weird kid that wears a suit every day to high school.
Well,
unless you take action to be what you want to do.
Right, and what did these billionaires do 10 years ago is what you need to look at. Not what they do right now. Because now he's flying a private jet.
Yeah, now he's not doing he's still exactly.
Yeah, he ain't doing shit. Where can people find you, Dean?
Yeah, Caffeine and Kilos at deanstores.zk on IG, and yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, new episodes Wednesday, Friday, goodcompany.discord.com if you want to top into the community and the Discord. 3rd Street Barbell, if you're in Northern California, come stop by. 3sb.co for all your gym apparel needs. And I'm Solid Mike. I'll catch you in the next one.
I am at the Jim McD on all those social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word, and 50, is just numbers.
Whoa, my bad.
50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time.
But it's such a product of its